Hello everybody. So today we're going to talk about switching an equation from standard form into slope-intercept form. And I recommend you jot down these notes or save them somewhere. The standard form, ax plus by equals c, that's your algebraic expression. And then I gave you a numeric expression, 3x plus 4y equals 12. Standard form has the x and y on the same side of the equal sign. All of them are on the same side. And the constant is on the other side of the equal sign. Whereas your slope-intercept form, the y equals mx plus b, which is what you used in 8th grade, same thing as f of x equals ax plus b. The numerical example, f of x equals 3x plus 7, notice that in this example, your x and your constant are on the right. You're isolating your y, or f of x. That's the only thing that should be on the left. And you have to learn to switch between the two. So you need to learn how to go from one equation form to the other. Today we're going to learn how to go from slope-intercept form into standard form. So our first example is, let me get a different color, y equals negative 4x minus 9. So in order to get it into standard form, again, which is ax plus by equals c, I need to get my x and y on the same side. Same rules apply, guys. Just like you're solving an equation. Remember, I can move anything around an equation that I want to, as long as I use the same operation and do that same operation to both sides. So I need to get that x on the same side as the y. So to do that, I'm going to add 4x to each side of the equation. Now here's the tricky part. I have to remember that I cannot add 4x to y. They are not the same x variable to the same power. So they can't be added together. So all I can do is write them down. So on the left side, I'm going to have 4x. That y is not negative, so it's a positive y. So plus y equals negative 4x plus 4x equals 0. So I can cross that out. And then I bring down my negative 9. I now have an equation in standard form. Let's do one more in this way. There's some harder ones we're going to get to. Y equals 2x plus 7. Okay, again, I need to get my x and y on the same side of the equal sign in order to have it in standard form. So I'm not going to move the 7 because that would be putting the 7 with the y. So instead I need to move the 2x. That is a positive 2x, so my opposite would be negative or minus 2x. And then what I do to one side, I've got to do to the other side. And when I say side, I mean side of the equal sign. So if I have negative 2x and y, those are not like terms. I cannot make that negative 2xy. That has to be just written down. So I'm going to say I have a negative 2x. That's a positive y, so I'm going to put plus y equals 2x minus 2x is 0. And then I'm going to bring down my positive 7. So those are how we get the more simple ones that are already in just slope-intercept form and put them in standard form. Let's look at one that's just Okay, so on this one, we have to do a little more than we did on the last one. So we have 2y minus 6 equals negative 3x. Now again, we want to get everything to the left-hand side of, we want to get the x and y to the left-hand side of the equation, and we want to get the constants on the right. So to do that, I'm going to, even if I follow my rules of solving equations, that could help me, but I know I need to get the x and y to the left and the constant to the right. So I'm going to add 3x, and whatever I do is fine as long as I do it to both sides, right? Now, as long as I don't get confused and add that to one of my values that is over here that doesn't have an x. I can't add it to 2y because they're different. They have different variables. 6 does not have a variable, so I can't add it to 3x. So I'm going to have my x comes first, so 3x plus 2y minus 6 equals, that's a 0, so I can put a 0 there. And then I need to get the 6 to the other side, so I have a negative 6. The opposite of that is plus or positive 6. And what I do to one side, I've got to do to the other. That leaves me 3x plus 2y equals 6. Okay, last one I'm going to do with you, but I wanted you to see that when you see fractions pop up on this, you don't have to freak out. You probably don't even need a calculator. All you have to do is move things around. We're not asking you to solve anything on this. So I have 8/3 y equals 9/5 x plus 8/3. All I have to do is get my x and my y on the left-hand side and my constant on the right. Just because they're fractions, that doesn't change which one's the variables and which one's the constant. So I have the 8/3 y and the 9/5 x and the 8/3. So the 8/3 without a letter is my constant. To get the x and y on the left-hand side, I'm going to move the 9/5 x from the right to the left. To do that, it's a positive, so I'm going to subtract. Minus 9/9 divided by 5x. And what I do to one side, I've got to do to the other. 9 divided by 5x. Now, I can't combine an x and a y, so I'm just going to write them down. I have a negative 9 divided by 5x. I'm going to bring down my 8/3 y. It's positive, so I'm going to put plus 8 divided by 3y equals 9/5 x minus 9/5 x is 0, so we don't have to write anything down there. And then I'm going to bring down my 8/3. 8 divided by 3. That's my answer. So don't freak out seeing a fraction. Y'all got this.